Run, river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sun. Run, river, run over me.
Hi, this is Jan Lewis. Welcome to be my guest. Today we have two great people with us. We have Sully Roberts with us, and he is the, correct me if I'm wrong, the Community Engagement Specialist over at the Independent Hall in Shrewsbury for the veterans. And we have Katerina, Litalien, did I say it right? Litalien? She is the Suicide Prevention Case Manager for Veterans, Inc., and she's located over at Grove Street. I got it right. Both of you two. Now, also, Sully walked in. You can find these probably downstairs in the lobby of our building. They were there when we needed them. We must be there now, and they need us. Who wants to start with the great things you have to offer?
Well, I just wanted to start out by thanking you so much for having us in today, Jan.
Yeah.
It's really something that we find a lot is that communication is the first step to getting veterans access to these really essential programs. So we're here today representing Veterans, Inc. We are the leading 501c3 nonprofit services provider for veterans in the United States. We are throughout New England. We're actually in every New England state as well as North Dakota and Montana. And you just read off our motto. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And really, we are there when veterans need us. That is our base, that is our motto. And since 1990, we've served over 90,000 veterans and their families with a whole host of services, from housing and homelessness prevention through employment and training, substance use treatment, suicide prevention, as well as all kinds of supportive services, benefits counseling, and advocacy. And we really just want to get that out there to people that, you know, these services are available, and so many vets either don't know about them or don't think that they qualify. So, you know, what I would put out there to folks is, if you are a veteran, or if you are a veteran family member, friend, anything like that, and you are in need of help, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're at 1-800-482-2565, or check out our website at veteransinc.org. Again, that's 1-800-482-2565 or veteransinc.org. We actually just did a major update to our website, so it's very user-friendly. We recommend everyone check it out and just start getting into those services, just so we can get cracking.
Now, you're located off of South Street in Shrewsbury.
Correct.
Now,
Yep.
Katerina, did I say their name right?
It's Katerina.
Katerina.
Very close.
Katerina with a G or with the A at the end?
With an A.
Okay. That's beautiful. Oh, my gosh.
Thank you.
Now, you are the case manager for suicide prevention.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Yes. So it's a new program that the VA just rolled out. We are the Vet AOE engagement grant. We were just brought to Veterans, Inc. to address the mental health barriers, kind of that the veterans, both in our programs and not in our programs, are facing, like a lot of what Sully mentioned: housing, healthcare, income, just all the social determinants of health, and just helping being an advocate for their mental health and getting them the things that they deserve.
And you're both working in conjunction with UMass Memorial, right?
Correct. So UMass is one of our major partners, I would say, both in kind of the donation sponsorship phase. They've been very generous to us, both kind of supporting various events, and we also support them at all of our kinds of events, whether it's having them out if we're having one of our bigger stand-down events for vets or anything like that. And also, they're just really essential. Something that we do is we have their residency program. We'll actually host their physician residents on site at Independence Hall to give them a taste of what addiction medicine looks like, and really get them kind of interface with our veteran and non-veteran population that we serve
the
there.
residents over there at UMass, that is, they have in the medical building that if you go in that way, they've got that huge area, and then there's that little bookstore.
Yep.
There have been everything from art exhibits to name it. That would be a great place for the VA to have a nice
Yeah,
Sad setup.
Yeah, actually, just to touch on that a second. So just to explain, the Veterans Inc. We work with the VA, but we're not like a part of them. So basically, they fund a lot of the work we do. But that's a common thing that people bring up is like, oh, you work with the VA. Like we get that all the time. Like, oh, you work with the VA. So we always just try to explain that just to make sure that folks know, we're a nonprofit services provider. We're not directly working. Like we're not the VA essentially.
Is it difficult to help? So let's say, God, it's awful, but a homeless veteran, I can't imagine. Is it hard to find a place for them to live they can afford?
Honestly, it's always difficult, particularly in the current market. It's been really rough. Housing stock is really low. A lot of landlords are tapped out, in one way or another. But I think what's really great about us and the programs that we offer is that even if we don't necessarily have an apartment, ready and waiting for someone to go in, we have a lot of what we call transitional housing, where a veteran can kind of go in, be housed in a stable location, and it's helping them on their path to full housing and kind of getting into place. But yeah, generally we've had a lot of success. I think a lot of landlords in kind of Worcester and throughout New England really know us. And we can come in and kind of advocate for those veterans, whether they're in the process of looking, or if they're in the kind of going the other way and headed towards eviction. We've stepped in and helped with either temporary financial assistance or just kind of advocating for them, because I think a lot of folks, some veterans may they may come off, if they have some kind of mental or substance use history, particularly. They may, kind of come off as standoffish or even aggressive, but a lot of that is just a response to their own, their kind of their mental health situation. And what we're able to do is we're able to come in, meet the veteran where they're at, but also meet the landlord where they're at and kind of figure that out. Just because a lot of times, as long as they know that they're supported and, we're not going to send them to the street. We don't do that.
Gosh, no. They don't deserve, we all know they don't deserve that.
Yeah. Well, that brings up a point, something that our CEO, Vin Peroni, talks a lot about is when people sign up for the military, they know that they may have to give their life for their country. Yep. But no one ever goes into the military expecting that they're going to come back and be homeless or be food insecure or have incredible mental health issues. Yeah. So that's something that we put out there to every veteran family member, every veteran friend that is out there. We are there for them when they need us. And that's just based on all the contributions that they have made to this country and to us personally as a community. They sacrifice their bodies, their mental health, their security, in some cases their marriages, their children. They give everything to this country. Yep. And it's really, we have so many services available for them, but it's a drop in the bucket. It's every day, this is what I think drives folks like us. We need to help them. It's just they need it.
This is like, Katerina, have you been on the phones with the suicide prevention? Do people volunteer to help out with that?
We do have volunteers, not specifically for our grant. Volunteers do help with Veterans Inc., but a lot of my job is kind of breaking down the barriers that Sully just mentioned. There are a lot of eligibility requirements for a lot of VA programs. Yeah. A lot of my clients right now, they slipped through the cracks. They don't meet those eligibility requirements, so what my job is to find a workaround for them. So I'm working with VSOs, I'm working with other nonprofits, and I'm kind of networking for them to get them the services and the things that they need to get their mental health back on track.
Is there like a 911 type of thing can you tell us about that?
The 988 is the Veterans Crisis hotline number. You can call it wherever you are. You can, no matter how you're feeling, what's happening in your life at that time, if you're going through a crisis, they either are going to give you resources, or they are if you are at risk of suicide or you have a plan, they are going to send transport right away. That's important to know. I do not deal directly with the crisis hotline. But we have called it before. We definitely have answered those calls.
And you're based over on Grove Street.
Correct.
I know, I've seen it. I've seen the gentleman waiting outside to go in. I know where it is.
Yes. Yep.
And then Sully is over on South Street
Yes.
in Shrewsbury.
Yep.
Just took me, I had to remember that, yep, I remember it's Price Choppers right
Yep,
down
yep,
the street.
right up the street.
So again, this is going to be long. We're talking with Sully Roberts, and he is the Community Engagement Specialist for the Veterans, Inc. He's based in Independence Hall in Shrewsbury. And then Katerina Litalien. She is the manager of the suicide prevention cases at Veterans, Inc., and she is on Grove Street. Now, I was looking at, this is great. I love this. I don't know if you could see this or not, but compassionate care for veterans, inpatient, outpatient, residential, Independence Hall, where Sully is, where recovery grows. Can they just walk in and say, I need help?
Yes, they can.
Yeah.
Any vet that comes through our door, we give priority access. So Independence Hall, we serve both veterans and non-veterans as a requirement under our licensure by the state. But we give priority access to veterans. So if they want to come in the door, if they call, if they email, we even have a text line set up if they're more comfortable with that. There is no front door. It's basically just however you want to approach us, we can get you in there, we can get you into treatment.
Sully, I've got a question.
Yeah, please.
If a man or a woman was in the service, but didn't actually go to battle, go overseas or whatever, can they still be treated the same way?
For the most part, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
it's and the other thing I wanted to bring that up. One of the things that we encounter the most, and I'm sure Katerina could speak to this too. There are folks that, the way that they read the eligibility requirements is not the way that it actually applies to them.
Yeah.
So you have folks who, and this is, it's not a criticism, it's just a fact. Our veterans, they have such humility and they have such a, there are so many veterans I have seen in terrible situations that have said, I don't have it that bad, so-and-so has it worse, you should go be helping them. And it's a beautiful thing, but it's also a tragic thing because it's really, what I say to them or what our case managers say to them when that kind of stuff comes up, it's really, you did your time. You put in your service, you did it, you're eligible for all of this. How could you not take advantage of that?
So in other words, like a guy comes in and he goes, hey, I didn't serve in Nam or Desert Storm, but this is my situation right now. Can you help me?
I did. I had a client like that today actually at work. In those situations, a lot of the time their basic training and their AIT, which is their secondary training after basic, so their job training, that counts as their active time. Most of our programs just need one day of active duty
Literally.
time.
Wow.
Yes.
That is
So,
great.
And and when we say active, that's the thing that to get across to people, you don't have to have had bullets whizzing overhead,
You don't have to be a combat veteran.
you don't. And I think that's the other thing is that people seem to think that, not people, our veterans, they seem to think that again, it's that I didn't have it as bad.
Yeah.
I'm not, and I think some of that is something that in this country we struggle with, just the division between physical and mental health. But I think most everyone has a veteran in their life that, they may not have a single physical scar, but the mental scars can be immense.
Right.
So if one of them is, let's say a veteran goes to UMass or another local hospital, let's say they're having a very hard time mentally, and they get in there, I've seen, unfortunately, they don't necessarily admit people in the mental health unit because you have to really be almost homicidal or suicidal to get
it's
in.
rough.
Not everybody has, but when they get in there, if they say, look, I'm a vet, does that help speed the process of being in touch with you? Will the hospital actually take the time to get in touch with you and say, look, we need to have someone here who really needs your help?
We have, my program specifically has had a couple of referrals from UMass of inpatient and people that they were sending outpatient, so we have followed up with them and enrolled them as well.
And we're in communication with kind of the way that we always like to approach things is top down and bottom up. I'm sorry for the folks at home as I'm doing my hand signs here, but so we always try to get in contact with the folks in charge, so the folks at the head of UMass. But I think, as we all know, that doesn't always filter down to the kind of the frontline folks, the troops, as we always like to say. So that's something that, this effort, just this talking right now, if there are any staff out there, again, keep us in mind where it's something, I think that the way that our medical system is set up, a lot of folks don't realize the power that they have, particularly in referrals, case management, discharge planning. Please, you can get them in touch with us at any point in your process, whether they've just entered care to whether they're just leaving it, and we will help you. Just kind of get people just in.
If a vet would like to further his or her education, do you help with that?
Yeah.
Aha.
So we have a full employment and training wing. So basically, there's kind of the employment side. So if someone is comfortable in their skill set and just needs a job, we can help with that. We have connections with all sorts of big employers, whether it's Amazon, Home Depot, bunch of others that I'm not thinking of right now. International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers is a great one.
How about the post office? I know one that's working.
Post office, yep.
Okay.
That's definitely one.
Yeah.
So there's that of just like, you need a job, we'll get you a job.
We will.
But
yeah.
we also have an entire training section, which is actually through the Call of Duty endowment for our gamers out there on the web. So basically, for that is for what we call like the job improvement or job training. So if it's something where if you want to get into a trade, if you want to get into construction, if you want to get into, again, electrical work, or if you're looking to, we have a lot of vets who over time have become, they may have started a certain percentage of disability and now they've become more disabled over time.
Sure, yeah.
And a lot of folks are actually finding that even later in life that they're kind of picking up coding, actual like software coding and stuff like that. So it's really amazing all of the various kind of work that we have to give. And we also do all kinds of certifications. If someone wants to go out for a nursing degree or some other kind of certification, we can definitely support that either, just strictly financially, or if they're looking for placement in a program or credentialing, anything like that, we can help.
Katerina, you might know, up Lincoln Street, there is this house. Is it called Goddard? What is it called? It's right across from Hanneman, practically.
And
And
ring a
it
bell.
helps, I think, men who are having mental health issues, that type of thing. I don't know if you connect with them. I cannot think
We've been in all the shelters in around surrounding Worcester as well.
Yeah.
We've put our name out there. They know that any veteran that they have, they can come to us for services. We are more than happy to help.
Right.
Because right now, since our program is so new, we really are trying to get our name out there. We are getting outside referrals, but they're a little bit slower than our inside referrals. So we're getting referrals from Independence Hall, from the male transitional housing, and things like that. And so we're taking care of all our Vets Inc. clients,
Yeah.
but we're trying to get our word out there for the other vets that don't really know about our program.
Exactly. I love the motto, Sully, compassionate care for veterans. But the motto, as he was saying, they were there when we needed them. We must be there now that they need us.
Yeah.
Who thought of that? That is spot on.
I think that might actually. So the way that the story behind how Veterans Inc. started, it started as just a few, kind of veteran brothers, essentially, brothers in arms, who came home and they realized this was around 1990, and there were just so many veterans at that point, either coming back from the Gulf. Paul and I were talking about that earlier, but folks who came back from the first Gulf War and just encountered homelessness. Just that was kind of what they were coming back to.
Yeah.
And they actually, what they did was they reclaimed essentially the the historic National Guard Armory in the middle of Worcester. So it was actually on the way to being condemned at that point. And 30 years later, you can see how we've expanded and grown.
Is that the one that coming in from Shrewsbury on Lincoln Street? It looks like it used to be barracks for families, or...
it's not ringing a bell the way you're describing it, but I wouldn't be surprised. It's basically, it's a big, it looks like a big brick castle, almost. It's a really impressive building.
How about the Wounded Warriors? Are you connected with them?
We're connected with most, so whether it's, Wounded Warrior Project or, Clear Path for Veterans, Soldier On, a lot of the different veterans groups, we're connected up just because, within Massachusetts, a lot of our efforts are kind of like we work throughout the state, but if we have somebody, we're not as focused on, say, like Boston, just because there's a huge profusion of veterans programs out there. It's really great. But if they have a veteran who is perchance like moving out west, they might refer him our way, him or her our way, to kind of get us connected up.
What if someone would like to volunteer? How do they go about this?
Yeah, so again, you can always call our line, that 1-800-482-2565, or check out veteransinc.org. We have a full volunteering page, so if you want to come in just for one event and just kind of check it out, see how it is. We also do all kinds of manner of activities, whether it's food services. A lot of different companies come in and they'll either sponsor or serve a meal to the vets at Grove Street.
How about medical help?
We can always do that. We actually have in June we have an event, our stand down event, where we're actually going to be having a host of medical providers on site. But we're always looking. So
where's it going to be? At your place at South Street there?
Yeah. No. It's going to be at Grove.
It's going to
be at Grove Street.
What's the date again?
It's June. I'm blanking on this now. It's I believe it's June 15th or 17th.
Okay.
I'll come back with the details on that. But I actually, one thing that we really wanted to talk about today was about our upcoming 26th annual Best Ball Charity Golf Classic.
Now, where's that going to be?
So this is going to be at Cyprian Keys in West Boylston.
Yep.
It's going to be, great golf tournament, and this gets at one of the things that kind of our organization, one of the challenges for any nonprofit. So just to let you know, the majority of our funding comes from the feds, the federal government, and the state government. So the between federal and state, that covers about 70% of our revenue.
Yep.
But the other 30% is all private donations and fundraising. And to make up that gap, that's why we have events like the tournament, like everything else. And it's always great to go out there to see the community, to have the vets see the community just there for them. They're supporting them.
Can they participate in the...
Yes, yeah. So
what's the sign-up? How do you do that?
Yeah. So if you go to veteransinc.org and go to our events page, it's under the Best Ball Charity Golf Classic. And they can either register to be, register to golf, just get an invite to attend if you just want to spectate, or if you're also thinking of sponsoring, we're still taking donations if you wanted to set up any kind of donation, whether it's on your own behalf or in memoriam of a veteran, past veteran friend, anything.
So the veterans they have to pay to get into to play. They would pay for that. Okay, that's fine. That's coming up in June.
Yep.
Right?
The Best Ball Charity Golf, the Best Ball Charity Golf Classic is on May 17th. That's next month.
All right, and that's going to be at.
That's going to be at Cyprian Keys in West Boylston.
Okay, that's good. So if you play golf and you want to help the veterans out.
Yeah, and we're going to have and it's not going to what I always love about the way we organize events is that firstly, we're there to fundraise, we're there to help the veterans, but we're also there to have fun. And really, that's what we want to show people is, it's not, and I know so many people, they think they're going to a fundraising event and they're like, oh God, I'm going to have to sit through like an hour of speeches. I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people who worries about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So really, it's got all manner of things. We're going to have prize giveaways, hole-in-one contests, longest drive, all different kind of contests that people are going to be able to participate in, and a steak dinner for the foodies out there who want to get something.
Katerina, do you ever get family members who call in on that line who say, we don't know what to do? We don't know what to do with him or her.
So I have not yet, no, but we do stay in contact with the family members of our clients. I have met some family members of some of the clients in other programs that have said, hey, this person, my family member, I'm not sure about how they're doing
Do you
with their
send
mental health.
an ambulance automatically?
So there's some criteria for that. The only reason to call 911 is if they say that they are have active suicidal ideation, or if they have a plan and means.
Yeah.
So those two, as long as they say no to those two, I can just sit there with them and have that conversation.
So if the family members bring them, let's say they don't qualify for the ambulance, but they bring them to the ER, do you call ahead? Because I don't want them waiting 6 hours out in the waiting room. These guys, that person with mental health issues is just not
Yeah.
I wouldn't. What do? You let them know ahead of time. Listen, this person is coming in.
Yeah. So you would call ahead and let them know that.
Yeah,
that's
that would be an awful thing to do.
Well, it's so funny because in a lot of ways the Vet AOE program and what we do over at Independence Hall when it comes to addiction treatment, something that you hear that comes up, and I think that this is generalizable across mental health, but it's particularly true for suicide prevention and substance use. The right time to go in is when they're ready. So it's like when, and when I say ready, I mean like when they're endorsing, I think I can do treatment. You have to hop on that.
Yeah, get it.
And that's, yes.
It's like an addiction, really, it is.
It is.
They have to, a lot of people have to, I'm not saying that that's precisely, but the person hits the bottom, they know, I've had enough, I can't do it anymore alone, I need help.
And you have to hop on that the second that comes up.
Yeah.
Because all it takes is going down the wrong street, talking to the wrong friend, and that notion goes away. Yeah. So really, that's what we tell people is, even if you as a family member, you as a friend, if you're not sure, even, you can always just come and talk to us. And it may not be something as extreme as a full entry into treatment or anything like that, but even just starting the conversation and kind of getting those connections up about case management, that it's just so immensely helpful.
Now you're based in Worcester. And if somebody wants to volunteer at the Veterans Inc., like we were talking about before, tell them who you are again before we close and how they can reach you.
So again, if you are a veteran in need, or you have a veteran family member or friend who is in need, please have them call 1-800-482-2565. Again, that's 1-800-482-2565, or check out our website at veteransinc.org. Thank you so much.
And Katerina?
Yep, and I'm Kat. I work at Veterans Inc. as the Vet AOE case manager. We focus on mental health, and if you are or know of a veteran who's struggling with their mental health, please do call.
We've been talking with Sully Roberts, and he is the Community Engagement Specialist over at the Independence Hall in Shrewsbury for Veterans Inc., and Katerina, Litalien, Suicide Prevention Case Manager based over for Veterans Inc., based on Grove Street. If by any chance you missed that or you want to get in touch with them, I can help you connect with them. My email is jjl3000@verizon.net, jjl3000@verizon.net. I can take your email, and then I can send it over to one of these people, okay? One of these staff people. We really need them, and they need to know who you are. And that's why they're here to help. It sounds like a plan to me. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you so much.
You should have them on again. We'll see you next time and be my guest.
Riding on a shooting star, heading out toward a dream. Tomorrow's even closer than it seems.